Hello everyone and welcome back to our virtual Mishnah Berurah share. We are holding in Mishnah Berurah Chelik Vav. We are continuing to learn Hilchas Shofar. Hopefully today we'll learn Daf Samach Hey Amud Aleph. As you can hear, my voice is not cooperating very well, so hopefully I'll be able to make it through Daf Samach Hey Amud Aleph. I may have to break in the middle and do it in two parts, but let's see how it goes. So we pick up today on Samach Dalin Amud Beis in Siman Kuf Tzadik, in the midst of Siv Gimel. We are up to 4 lines from the bottom by the words in the Mechaber, V'tzarech laha'arich. So in the beginning of Siv Gimel, the Mishnah Berurah told us, Yesh Oimrim. I'm just reading the words at the beginning of Siv Gimel. Yesh Oimrim sheshir tekiah ketrua. The Mechaber brought down a shita that the minimum length of a tekiah is equal to the length of a trua. And the Mechaber said that according to this first opinion, the length of a trua is the length of 3 simple sounds, 3 quick sounds. Toot, toot, toot. That would be the length of a trua. And since the length of a tekiah is equal to the length of a trua, that's the length of a tekiah. The length of a tekiah is the same amount of time it takes to blow 3 quick kailos in rapid succession. Toot, toot, toot. So the length of a tekiah would be toot. That would be the length of a tekiah. And therefore, the Mechaber warned us that when you blow a shvarim, you should be very careful that each one of the shvarim, one shever, right? A shvarim is comprised of 3 kailos. Toot, 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 or toot, 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 toot. So each one of those 3 kailos is called a shever. The Mechaber warned us that you should not make a shever the length of 3 short kailos. Those short kailos are called termitin. You should not make a shever the length of gimel termitin, because according to this opinion, if the length of a trua is the length of gimel termitin, and the length of a tekiah is equal to the length of a trua, then if you blow a shvarim and you make a shever the length of gimel termitin, then that shever is actually a tekiah. And in that case, you didn't blow a tekiah and then a shvarim. You blew a tekiah and then you blew another tekiah. That's what the Mechaber told us. Now the Ramah took issue with the Mechaber, and the Ramah said not so fast. The Ramah said the Mechaber is worried that if you blow a shvarim, that's the length of gimel termitin, that shever, not if you blow a shvarim, if you blow a shever, the length of gimel termitin, that shever is going to be a tekiah? Says the Ramah, not so fast. It depends which seder of the shofar blowing you're up to. If you're in the first seder, if you're up to tekiah, shvarim, trua, tekiah, then we're blowing a shvarim terua because we're afraid that the trua of the Torah is a shvarim trua. Now a shvarim trua is definitely longer than gimel termitin. When the Mechaber said that there's an opinion that says that a trua is gimel termitin, that's the shortest possible trua. That's a plain trua, would be the length of gimel termitin. But if you're blowing a shvarim trua, obviously it's longer than gimel termitin. So in the seder of tekiah, shvarim, trua, tekiah, says the Ramah, you don't have to worry if you blow a shever that's gimel termitin. It's not going to become a tekiah because the whole shvarim terua, which is the trua of that seder, is by its very nature longer than gimel termitin. So then the shever could be longer than gimel termitin. And in the seder of tekiah, shvarim, tekiah, also the shever could be longer than gimel termitin, because a shvarim is longer if a trua is gimel termitin, then a shvarim, which is 3 longer sounds, is longer than a trua. So then the shever doesn't have to be gimel termitin, it could be a little bit longer. The only seder where you would have an issue if you blew a shever that's gimel termitin is long or longer is the seder of tekiah, trua, tekiah, because in that seder the trua is taka gimel termitin. So if you blow a shever that's gimel termitin, it would become a tekiah. So that's what the Ramah said. And of course, the Ramah didn't say that all inside. This is the Ramah with the Mishnah Berurah's explanation of it. So now we pick up with the Mechaber 4 lines from the bottom. V'tzarech laharich b'tekiya shel tekiya shvarim trua tekiya, yoser mi b'shel tekiya shvarim tekiya. See, the Mechaber really says this logic. The Mechaber doesn't disagree with the logic over here, because the Mechaber himself says that when you blow the seder of tekiya shvarim trua tekiya, your tekiya has to be longer than the tekiya of tekiya shvarim tekiya. Why? Because again, the trua of the seder tekiya shvarim trua tekiya, the trua is the shvarim trua, is longer in that seder than it is in the seder of tekiya shvarim tekiya, and therefore the tekiya has to be longer because the tekiya has to be equal in length to the trua. And says the Mechaber, by the same token, ubishel tekiya shvarim tekiya, when you blow the seder of tekiya shvarim tekiya, the tekiya has to be longer, yoser mi b'shel tekiya trua tekiya, longer than the tekiya of the seder tekiya trua tekiya. Because again, according to this opinion, the trua of tekiya trua tekiya is only gimel termitin. All it is so that the tekiya of that seder is just but the tekiya of the tekiya shvarim tekiya, so what's the trua in that seder? It's the shvarim. That shvarim is longer than the trua of tekiya trua tekiya. So then, correspondingly, its tekiya has to be longer. Umiyu, however, imarech harbe b'chol tekiya ein lachush. But the Mechaber does point out that if you blow the tekiya longer, that's not a problem. She'ein la shir lamayla. There is no maximum length of the tekiya. So you don't have to worry that you're going to blow the tekiya too long. V'chein, similarly, b'trua, when it comes to blowing the trua, yakal laharich b'kamoy yirtzeh. You could blow the trua as long as you want. According to this opinion, that the trua is only gimel termitin, you don't have to go and that's it. You can blow it longer as well. Not a problem. V'chein, and similarly, says the Mechaber, im moisef al shloisha shvarim, if you add on to the 3 shvarim, v'aisa arba oy chamisha, and you blow 4 or 5 shvarims, in other words, instead of making up the shvarim out of 3 shevers, you make up the shvarim out of 4 or 5 shevers, the Mechaber says, hey, lachash, you don't have to worry. Okay, let's take a look at the Mishnah Berurah's Cut Yud. B'tekiya shel tekiya shvarim trua tekiya, you have to blow the tekiya of the tekiya shvarim trua tekiya longer than the tekiya of the tekiya shvarim tekiya. Why? Explains the Mishnah Berurah. Teshema heavy trua shvarim u'trua yachad. Because why do we blow a seder of tekiya shvarim trua tekiya? Because we're worried that the real trua of the Torah is a shvarim trua. Ritzayna loymar yalil v'gonach. In other words, according to that, we say that the real trua is a trua that's comprised of yalil, the staccato wailing, v'gonach, and the slower sobbing. So the trua of the Torah is a shvarim trua. V'shir tekiya, and the minimum size of a tekiya, haloi hevik trua, is equal to the minimum size of a trua. So when we blow the seder of tekiya shvarim trua tekiya, that means that the trua is the shvarim trua. So then the tekiya has to be equal in length to the shvarim trua. Ulefi deyazu, and according to this opinion that the trua is gimel termitin, dai, it would be enough to make the tekiya of the tekiya shvarim trua tekiya im nasa tekiya shel tashrat kishir shnei masar koiches. It would have to be the length of 12 simple sounds. Why 12? Because the trua is 3 staccato sounds. The trua is gimel termitin, and the shvarim is 3 times 3. Each shever is gimel termitin. So that means that you have the trua is gimel termitin, the shvarim is 9 termitin, that's 12 termitin. So according to this first opinion, a tekiya for the seder of tekiya shvarim trua tekiya would be 12 termitin. Ubishal tashat, and when you blow the seder of tekiya shvarim tekiya, yoser mishal tarat, the tekiya would be a little bit longer than the tekiya of tekiya trua tekiya. Because by the Seder of Tekiah, the Trua is only Gimel Termitin. Toot, toot, toot. So that's the length of the Tekiah. But by Tekiah Shvarim Tekiah, the Shvarim is longer than a Trua, right? So the Tekiah of Tekiah Shvarim Tekiah has to be longer than the Tekiah of Tekiah Trua Tekiah. The Shvarim hu Gaineach, because the Shvarim is the Sob, v'hu Yoser Gardam Yolil, and that's longer than the staccato wailing of a Trua, Shu Trua. V'shira Tekiah Dai Bazek Tisha Kaichais. So by Tekiah Shvarim Tekiah, the Shvarim would be 9 termitin, so the Tekiah would be 9 termitin. Ubishal Tarat, and when you blow the Seder of Tekiah Trua Tekiah, Dai B'Tekiah Kishish al Shloisha Kaichais, the Tekiah could be as short as Gimel termitin, Kabashakasa Bereisha Sif, like we wrote in the beginning of the Sif. Ois Katan Yud Aleph, the Mechaber said, you could blow a Trua as long as you want, and the Mechaber said by a Shvarim, if you want to make the Shvarim out of more than 3 shevers, if you want to blow 4 or 5 shevers, the Mechaber said that's fine. Ois Katan Yud Aleph, V'chein im Moisef al Shloisha Shvarim, if you make the shever out of more than 3 Shvarim, the Mechaber said that's good. However, the Mishnah Berurah says, V'yesh bin ha-paiskim shemachmirin bazeh, there are paiskim that rule more stringently, V'nachal lachush l'divrayim, and it would be proper to be concerned for their opinions, l'chatchila, shaloi lasois yoser min shloisha shvarim, that a shvarim should not be made up out of more than 3 shevers, more than 3 shvarim. Okay, so this was all based on the first opinion brought by the Mechaber, that a Trua is Gimel Termitin. And again, what's Gimel Termitin? That would be Gimel Termitin. Now we have another opinion, which is the opinion that we are far more familiar with. V'yesh, there are those that say, and if you see in the Berurah, this is brought down from Tosfos, V'yesh Sheshir Yabava, that the minimum length of a Yabava is Shloisha Trumitin. In the beginning of Sif Gimel, we said that a Trua is 3 Yabavas. And a Yabava is a 1 Kail, 1 Termit. A Tut, that's a Yabava. And a Trua would be 3 of them. Now in this Yeshayimrim of Tosfos, the Mechaber says Yeshayimrim, Sheshir Yabava Shloisha Trumitin. A Yabava is 3 Trumitin. Oh, and a Trua has to be 3 Yabavas. So therefore, V'shir Trua, according to this opinion, a Trua is Kishloisha Yabavas Shem Tisha Trumitin. Now we have a Trua is 9 Trumitin. And continues the Mechaber, V'shir Tekiah, Gam Kain Tisha Trumitin. According to this opinion, since the length of a Trua is 9 Trumitin, so the length of a Tekiah is equal to 9 Trumitin Katrua. Let's see the Mishnah Berurah here. It says the Mishnah Berurah is Katan Yud Beis. Shem Tisha Trumitin, the Kasu Achreinim, the Achreinim, right? The Nachain Lasais Kei L'chatchila. L'chatchila, we should follow this opinion that a Trua is 9 Trumitin, and that the Tekiah has to be equal in length to 9 Trumitin, at least by the Seder of Tekiah Trua Tekiah. But b'di'evet, if we blow a Trua that's Gimel Trumitin, and a Tekiah that's Gimel Trumitin by the Seder of Tekiah Trua Tekiah, b'di'evet, you would be Yoitza. When the Mechaber says here that since a Trua is 9 Trumitin, a Tekiah is 9 Trumitin, that's by the Seder of Tekiah Trua Tekiah. The Ilu B'Shel Tekiah Shvarim Tekiah, because if we're going to talk about the Seder of Tekiah Shvarim Tekiah, Hu Yoser Ma'at, then the Tekiah is going to have to be a little bit longer than Tisha Trumitin, because ostensibly the Shvarim is going to be a little bit longer. Okay. Now, I'm going to stop in the middle of this Mishnah Berurah, because before we do the rest of this Mishnah Berurah, we have to go further in the Mechaber. So let's go back to the Mechaber now, second line. Ulefi zeh, says the Mechaber, according to this opinion, where trua is 9 trumitin long, now you don't have to worry if you blow a shever that's a little bit longer. Now, what does he mean by this? What he means by this is, the Mechaber in the beginning of Sif Gimel said that according to the opinion that a trua is Gimel Trumitin, if you blow a shever that's Gimel Trumitin, then that shever turns into a tekiah. Now, to blow a shever that's Gimel Trumitin is not very hard to imagine. Let's picture this for a second. Here's a trua of Gimel Trumitin. Okay, that's not long. Now let's blow a shvarim. I'm going to blow like a nusach svard, pshutai, straight shvarim. So let's do one shever. Gimel Trumitin. Not hard to imagine a shever being Gimel Trumitin long. Not hard to imagine. Now, says the Mechaber, if on the other hand we go with the second opinion, that a trua is Tisha Trumitin, that a trua is 9 Trumitin, and therefore the minimum length of a tekiah is the length of 9 Trumitin, how long is that? That was 9 Trumitin. That's a pretty long shever. How long did that shever have to be? It's hard to imagine that being a shvarim. Therefore, it says the Mechaber now, according to the Shita, ulefizeh, again, the second line, ulefizeh, according to this Shita, that a trua is 9 trumitin, ein lachushim herech tzas bashvarim. Now you don't have to worry if you make a shever that's a little bit long. Because what are the odds that you're going to make a shever, one shever, that's tisha trumitin long? Now let's go back into the Mishnah Berurah, in middle of Ice Cut and Yud Gimel, where he says, Umasha Kosav. Umasha Kosav, says the Chavetz Chaim. Umasha Kosav. And this that the Mechaber wrote, Ulefi zeh ein lachush, that according to this, you don't have to worry if you blow a shever that's a little bit long. Ritzana Loimar, what the Mechaber wants to say is, the kevan deshir tekiah, since the size of a tekiah, hu ketisha trumitin lapachas, is at minimum 9 trumitin long, because a trua, a regular trua, is 9 trumitin, and a tekiah is equal to a trua. Memela yuchal laharich b'shever echad me'ashvarim ad kidei shmeina trumitin. So you could blow a shever even up to 8 trumitin long. V'lo yichashev ketekiah, it won't become a tekiah. Who's blowing shvarim that are that long? Nobody's blowing a shever that long. Aval, however, this doesn't mean that the Mechaber is telling you that there's no potential problem at all in blowing a shever that's too long. Aval yizar shalayasik yishir tisha trumitin. There still is a technical potential problem if you'll take a blow a very long shvarim comprised of 3 shevers, and each one is 9 trumitin long, then you're going to have a problem. Does pasal af b'di'evet? That would be pasal even b'di'evet, the nechshav k'tekiah l'kulei alma, because that would certainly become a tekiah, but that is indeed very, very long. Now the Mishnah Berurah follows through on the logic that we said in the beginning of the shir, and applies the same logic to this Yesh Oimrim. Remember what we keep on saying. Why do we have 3 different starim? Why do we have tashrat, tashat, and tarat? Because we're not sure what a trua is. Is a trua a regular, what we call a trua? Is a trua what we call a shvarim? Or is a trua a combination shvarim trua? So now we have to apply this logic to each one of the starim. Says the Chavetz Chaim, v'hinei b'tashrat, by the seder of tashrat, hayu lanu lahakil yoser. Really, we could be even more mekel. Laharich b'shever echad ad shmoina asar koiches. Let's remember, According to this shita, a trua is 9 trumitin. So in the Seder of Tashrat, the trua is 9 trumitin, and the shvarim could also be 9 trumitin. 3 times 3, that's 18 trumitin. If the shvarim trua is 18 trumitin, then the tekiah is 18 trumitin. And then you only have a problem blowing a long shever if that shever is going to be 18 trumitin long, which is approximately 4 seconds. Now let's imagine a shvarim that's comprised of 4-second shevers. You're going to call that a shvarim? Who's blowing a shvarim like that? But really, we could be makel, according to this shita, we could be makel in the Seder of Tashrat, and we could have a shvarim where each shever is that long, and you still wouldn't have a problem, because the shever cannot become a tekiah until each shever is 18 trumitin long. But, says the Chavetz Chaim, Savine b'tashrat hayolad l'hakal yoser l'harich b'shever echad shmainosa koichais. Came the trua shamu b'sach zeh. Since the trua, right, the shvarim trua is 18 trumitin long. Memela lo yevishir tekiah ad shmainosa. So a tekiah is 18 trumitin. Shu genichais v'yalalois. The combination of the shvarim, which is the genicha, and the trua, which is the yalala. Ella, however, the reason we wouldn't be that makel is the yesh lachush lebilbel adas, because we have to worry about confusion. What does he mean? Shapam echad yasa shever arich mechaveroi. Now you're going to start playing around, and you're going to have a very long shever, which sounds like a tekiah, right, by the Seder of Tashrat, and then by Tashat, you're going to have to make it shorter. The betashat aliyosalasis kein v'chanal. Okay, therefore, Yashva Isamachamakim, we make the shever equal. Shalayir Shum Shever Aruch Kitisha Kaichais. We should never make a shever that's 9 trumitin long. Now it's interesting. According to our minig, my minig, the Litvish minig in the yeshivas, where we blow broken shvarim, this is almost never an issue, because my shvarim, they're never long. How do you have a long shever? I mean, I guess you can theoretically, but that's just not the way we blow it. We just do. So you're not going to have long shevers, but when you blow the pshutais, you could blow them longer or shorter very easily. Continues the Mishnah Berurah. V'gam deladas harayvid. There's another reason, says the Chavetz Chaim, why we want to make sure that we never have a shever that's longer than 9 trumitin. Again, what the Chavetz Chaim is addressing over here is, technically, in the Seder of Tashrat, according to this opinion, that a trua is 9 trumitin, then technically, in the Seder of Tashrat, you should be able to have a shever as long as almost 18 trumitin, because shvarim trua is 18 trumitin, so a tekiah is 18 trumitin. So you don't have to worry about a shever becoming a tekiah until you hit 18 trumitin. So he said, we don't do that. One reason is because of bilbal adas. We don't want to have that by tashrat. A shever could be that long, but by tashat it can't, and by tarat it certainly can't. He says another reason. For Garmin also, the Ladasa Ravid, because according to the opinion of the Ravid holds that a tekiah is always 9 koiches. The Ravid holds that since, according to this opinion, a simple trua is 9 trumitin, and then the shear of a tekiah is the shear of a trua. It's the shear of that trua. It's not the shear of the shvarim trua in the Seder of Tashrat. It doesn't go by the Seder that you're in. A tekiah is 9 trumitin. So kol shever shu ketisha koiches nechshav kitkiya. According to that Ravid, anytime you would blow a shever, I don't care which seder you're in, if you blew a shever that's 9 trumitin, it would become a tekiyah, you wouldn't be yotza. Therefore, yesh li zara bazer. Therefore, the Chavetz Chaim says we should take care and we should never blow a shever that's 9 trumitin long. When we come up with the Yeved, nevertheless, but the Yeved, Eino nifsal amasa hashever b'tashrat ad shmoina asa koiches. But the Yeved, if you did blow a very long shever, even up to 18 koiches, it doesn't become a tekiyah. Aval shmoina asar, you could go slightly less than 18 trumitin. But once you hit 18 trumitin, pasal af b'di'eved, teshuv nasa tekiyah l'kol yama. Kas achrayim right, l'chatchila yaseh shira shlosh shvarim ketisha koiches. L'chatchila the shvarim should be 9 koiches. U'b'di'eved yatsa im herech kisher shisha koiches ikarav lozeh. But b'di'eved you yatsa, even if it's a little bit shorter, even if it's only 6 koiches. Okay. Continues the Mechaber, second line down. According to this opinion, that a trua is 9 trumitin, you have to make sure that the tekiyah of the Seder Tashrat is kishir shneim asar trumitin, 12 trumitin long. What? Where does 12 trumitin come from? So take a look right away at the Mishnah Berurah cutting your dalit. Shnei masa trumitin taz sefer. This is a typo. V'tzarek lamer shmoina asar. It should say 18 trumitin. The true tisha trumitin, because the true is 9 trumitin. V'gam shvarim l'pachas ukein, and the shvarim is also 9 trumitin. V'im keinu shmoina asar. V'gam yaiser ma'at, and a little bit longer. The shvarim aruchin yaiser ma'at, because the shvarim is a little bit longer than the 9 trumitin of the trua, which makes perfect sense, because the trua, if you blow a trua of 9 trumitin, that's 9 trumitin, but it's 9 trumitin straight, where the shvarim, each shever is 3 trumitin, and there's a minuscule pause between each shever. Whoops. See, and start really practicing it. So there's a minuscule pause between each shever. So if each shever is 3 trumitin, so in total you have 9 trumitin, but you have the slight pause between each shever. Now we go back to the Mechaber. Umi, 3 lines down. Umi shalai ha'erich batkiya keshir hazeh. Says the Mechaber, following this opinion, if you did not make a tekiyah that's 18 trumitin long, or the ha'erich bashvarim, and then let's say you blew a shvarim, and your shvarim, your shever, was longer than 3 trumitin, like kiyah mitzvah, like kamar, then you're not yotza, not according to the first opinion of Siv Gimel, and not according to the second opinion of Siv Gimel. Why? Because if you blew a shvarim that was longer than 3 trumitin, if you blew a shever that was longer than 3 trumitin, so then according to the day of Rishona, that shever became a tekiyah, and you're not yotza. Oh, but okay, but according to the second opinion, it's not a tekiyah. Yeah, but if you blew a tekiyah and your tekiyah was not 18 trumitin long in the Seder of Tashrat, then your tekiyah wasn't a tekiyah. So if you're holding in the Seder of Tashrat and you blow a tekiyah that's only 10 trumitin long, right? So it's very nice. That tekiyah is a good tekiyah according to the first opinion. But then you go ahead and you blow a shever, and your shever is 4 trumitin long. Well, according to the first opinion, that shever is a tekiyah. So you can't be yotza according to the day of Rishona. Now, you want to go ahead and you want to be yotza according to the day of Shnia, according to the second opinion? Well, you can't, because your tekiyah was only 10 trumitin long. And according to the second opinion, In the Seder of Tashrat, you need a tekiah that's 18 trumitin long. So you're not yotzeh, not according to the day of Rishon, and not according to the day of Shnia. Says the Mishnah Berurah. Oiskat Tezvav. V'herich bashvar. Now, the way the Mechaber reads, it sounds like it's a combination. If you don't blow a tekiah that's 18 trumitin long, and you blow a shvarim longer than 3 trumitin, you're not yotzeh, not according to either opinion. Says the Chavetz Chaim lav dafka. If you blew a tekiah that was 10 trumitin long, and then you blew a shever that was 10 trumitin long, according to the second opinion, you're not yotzeh, because your tekiah was too long. Well, it wasn't long enough. I'm sorry. V'hinei, ba'avor shazeh asif rabu pratav, since there are a lot of intricate details in this Sefer and Siv Gimel. And says the Mishnah Berurah, it's hard to mine out of this Sif Lamaisa all the details that you need to know halacha Lamaisa. Valkein, therefore, echtay bekitzer eich lehisnag lechatchila. Chavetz Chaim says, I'll tell you what you should do lechatchila. Tzarech hatekeh lizayer, the Baal Tekeh should be careful. Sheyarich b'tekehis to Tashrat, that when he's blowing a tekiah in the Seder of Tashrat, he should blow them long enough. Shekol tekiah yeh lepachos k'yashir shmayna asar koichais u'ma'at yoser. You should have at least 18 trumitin, and it should be a little bit longer than 18 trumitin, because it's hard to really focus on getting 18 trumitin. V'atekiyah shal tashat v'tarat, and the tekiyahs in the Seder of tekiyah shvarim tekiyah and tekiyah trua tekiyah, yeh lepachos k'yashir tisha koichais. Those tekiyahs should be at least 9 trumitin long. Then you're yotzeh according to everyone. They're long enough for the day of Shnia, and they're long enough for the day of Rishona. Because it doesn't matter that you're blowing longer than necessary. According to the first opinion, the Mechaber said you could blow as long as you want. V'gam yizar, and you should also be careful. B'chol hashvarim, whenever you blow a shvarim, bein b'tashat u'bein b'tashrat, shelo yaseh shum shever mitisha koichais, that you should never blow a shever that's longer than 9 trumitin. V'tayv yoseh shelo yaseh b'chol shever rak shlosha koichais, a shever should not be more than 3 trumitin. V'gam yizar lechatchila sheyaseh kol trua bein shel tashrat u'bein shel tarat k'shir tisha koichais, and every trua, both by tekiyah shram trua tekiyah and by tekiyah trua tekiyah, should be at least 9 trumitin long. I'm going to have to stop over here simply because my voice is giving out. So hopefully we'll be able to go a little bit longer next time, and we can pick up on some lost ground. Thank you so much for joining me for limud HaTorah. The source of limud HaTorah should be banging against Klal Yisrael. For Ron Hashem should send Yeshua's for wisdom, parnasa to all those in need, and we should be zeichet to see the Bias Gal Tzedek, but Amen. Be well.